Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. I love this one. Next comment or question comes from Electrical Scarecrow. Oh, I love that name. And this was in response to Roland S-50 circuit board repairs and starting the reassembly. Part 7 of the restoration I did in August 2022. Good God. Electrical Scarecrow writes, working on one of these myself. Grabbed it for $25 from a thrift shop. So far I've replaced the drive with an emulator, cleaned the heck out of the insides of the keyboard, put detox on all the pots, switches and wipers, I think that's meant to be faders, and replaced the relay. I tried cleaning it but couldn't get the original relay back together once it was clean. No, that's probably not a surprise. It starts to work well, but 3 keys don't work. This process looks painstaking, but probably worth it. Well, if you want to get it back to original working order, then looking at the keyboard, looking at the key bed, is quite important. And the problem with the key bed is the key bed is part of the synthesizer, where if something's going to drop through it, drinks and other such nasties, then it goes between the keys and it drops down and obviously hits the circuit board, which is kind of unprotected. The rest of the circuit board for the synthesizer, of course, is protected because it's underneath the synthesizer. Although people still pour things through the buttons and it seeps through. But it would be interesting to know where you've got to on the progress of this sample. I'm avid. I wanted to understand where people get to. Personally, one of the things I would say is, and I do this on keyboards, once the tact switches start to go, then I'm inclined to replace the tact switches. When I did the JX3P restoration for Gary, I lubed the pot with deoxic and then relubed it, and I was hoping that would do the trick. Unfortunately, I don't think it has done the trick, and I'm going to have that keyboard back here at some point in the future to swap out that volume pot to do a proper job on it. But I thought I could get away with that, and for Gary it's kind of running mono, but for what Gary is using it for, running mono at the moment seems to work fine for him, but it really should be running stereo, and that requires the pot probably to be replaced. Anyway, what I would say is things like tact switches and what have you, for the cost of 20 quid and a little bit of your time, replacing all of them in one hit is the way to go. Never replace tact switches on a one-to-one basis. It's just not worth the aggro, because once they start to go, they will all start to go sooner or later, and you'll end up opening it up and replacing, and opening it up and replacing it. It gets to be just a pain. So that's where I've got. There is an aftermarket replacement for the original relay, and you can get that if you go to the S-50 Lander site. I'll put a link to it if I can remember. There is a link to the project, and you can download the board and you download the price list. You can go to Mouse and buy all the parts and replace it, because the original relay you cannot buy. You will not be able to buy the original relay. It just does not exist. It was one of those parts that Roland made a number of them, and then after that it's gone. What I don't subscribe to is actually changing or bypassing the relay, which a lot of people seem to have done. And the reason I'm against that is because the S-50 makes quite a pop when it switches on, and the whole idea of the relay is that it doesn't engage the audio circuits to the outputs until you actually have the synth on. So it's protecting your outputs. But if you get one of these loud pops and it goes through and you've got your amplifier switched on, your mixer switched on, and it's all sort of kind of cranked at a decent volume, you could quite easily pop your studio monitors or your amplifiers on stage, etc. So that's what I said. There was a response to this. The relay was an easy fix. I just used a replacement solution, so I think he went and got the replacement solution I've just referred to. And I've luckily fixed in those tack switches many times. The trick is to use needle drop style applicator from the detox bottle. It works under the plastic button, then you press the switch 50 or 100 times, works like a charm. I got my key bed apart and back together this weekend. It was super dirty, no issues with broken tracks. She sounds great. I'd say the hardest part of working on this thing was getting the black plastic sides back on. Mine was extremely brittle with the little black cylindrical chambers that secure the screws had cracks, maybe from someone in the past over tightening them. I went to secure the screws in these cylinders cracked into bits, but I was able to use some nylon washers and some JB Weld to fix this issue, and you can't really notice unless you look down the holes on the panels. Thanks again, saved me a lot of hassle with releasing keys from key beds. Well, that sounds like a project to get a S-50 sampler back up and running, well worth doing.